posting pictures of your kids on Facebook could land you in prison. Now, this specifically pertains to France, but now I guess there's conversations about it trickling to other parts of the world. So the French government earlier this year warned parents to stop posting images of their children on social media networks. Under France's rigorous privacy laws, parents could face penalties of up to a year in prison, and the fine is over 46 grand if they're convicted of publicizing intimate details of their children without their children's consent. Now, the article is really interesting. This is on Mashable because the article breaks down why parents share, what drives them to do it, why is there such an obsession with oversharing, and they also talk about the solution. So first of all, what's interesting is a recent study by Nominate, which handles the UK's domain name registry. They found that parents post nearly 200 photos of their under fives online every year, which makes sense. If you all follow parents on social media, that makes sense, right? So that means that a child will be featured in over 1,000 online photos before their fifth birthday. So then it also describes in the article that if you want a solution to the problem, it says asking your children's consent is not only part of the issue, but it's now part of the solution. And asking if your child likes the photos of them and whether you can put it up online can be a very quick and respectful conversation. But more importantly, it also sets up a great approach to your kids understanding digital etiquette for them later on in life. And then it also says here, parents sharing photos of their kids online isn't only about digital identity, it's also about our obsession with taking photos of our kids, particularly when they shine or don't shine in their respective activities. It goes on to say this can make kids feel pressure to perform to help mom and dad get the right snap to share. What the children really want to see is you taking notice of them and acknowledging that they and their actions are important. That's interesting. Thoughts, 5 words or less.
Bless my computer illiterate parents.
Wait, what?
Sharing isn't caring.
You got to be kidding. You're a parent.
Yes.
Do you overshare?
I don't, and that's why I said, wait, what about this? Because I think the how to combat oversharing was very interesting, but without getting a 5-year-old's consent. First of all, a 5-year-old doesn't know what they're consenting to. My nephew's 5, and I say I'm putting a picture up. Okay, uncle. It's like they're not gonna be like, well, let me check about that picture. How will this impact me 20 years from now? They're not gonna think that. I don't.
Maybe if you do it enough, it's a pattern of behavior. At least that when they get older, they understand that asking someone is a good etiquette while posting.
But Sam,
I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. But they're saying teaching kids social media etiquette for down the line, 20 years from now, social media is gonna. It might even be. I mean, it's gonna evolve.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be 20 years from now. It's gonna be 5 years from now when they
when
go from
they're
5 to
11?
9, and everyone is posting all that stuff, and you have to get your kid a cell phone.
I don't think I think I love going on certain Instagrams of moms and seeing them enjoy their children. And I don't think that it's putting pressure on children to overperform or all these things that could possibly happen. I don't see that happening.
I see it way obsessive. Like, believe me, I hope I don't become that parent because I look at
I'll tell you.
Please do. Milestones, little moments, so precious, and I love and enjoy that too. But there is this line that I've seen many parents cross where it's literally like their kid like about to eat a bowl of cereal and they post it. I'm like, what is that? Who cares?
The most interesting thing to me is parents who are posting photos of their kid. What is their motivation? And are they thinking through the effects on the children of this? That's, I think, at the core. So they pointed out the difference between posting your kid like nailing it at a piano recital or your kid like crying because it was the wrong bowl they ate out of. And some parents will post the latter because they think it's hilarious and they don't think through that they're embarrassing their child for their own gain. That's one element of it. The other that I think is that was right on the money is my friend May has this adorable baby Kira, and that kid is the most stylish 1-year-old I've ever seen. And when that kid grows up, it'll be able to look back and say like, I've always been stylish. But no, you'll be able to have proof that your parents created that. Whereas in a pre-social media world, you just had this feeling that it was you that came up with it.
Interesting.
And now you'll see, no, my parents created that in me.
Created
and
that
we all
identity.
have those moments of resentment where we're like, Mom, why'd you do this to me? And now we'll be able to, for better or for worse,
Pinpoint
like,
it.
why did you put such a high watermark on high ideal on my ability to create like this awesome stylish look.
I didn't even think about
Yeah,
that.
I'll
That's
resent you
interesting.
for.
I really agree with your first point, Brett, and I would kind of piggyback off of that. What is the motivation? And also ask yourself, who do you really want to see these photos? Because that's what I think of when I see friends of mine or people I know that are sharing a lot of photos of their kids. I know that, especially people I don't know so well, they don't give a shit if I see it, if Grace Baldridge sees it, but they probably care about 5 to 10 people that are in their lives or family members they want that would care also about the bowl of cereal or whatever it is. And so sharing it with everyone, what are you trying to impress here? What is the message that you're trying to send? I think sometimes it can be you don't realize that you could be embarrassing a kid potentially because to you it's very funny, and that I don't know, maybe the kid hasn't like developed that broad sense of a personality yet, so they don't really know that it's something worth being embarrassed about. So it's like we'll deal with that sort of thing later.
Do you guys think it's extreme to now, like for instance with the French government, do you think it's extreme to have this privacy law where a parent could go to jail? I mean, where is the
I think it's
the
weird that the
line?
money goes to the government.
Yeah,
Like, why? If I'm embarrassing my child, it should be more of a civil case. We're like, all right, I'm going to put $45,000 aside for my child
wonder
in
what-
a trust for when it comes of age.
I wonder what that line is, because I do think that sharing photos of your children can be very beautiful, and I understand that. But there is this line that I see a lot of parents cross where it's manic. It's like all of these photos constantly, and then you look at their feed, and it's like, and it's beautiful to like live through your children. I get that, but there is this line that I feel like has become an obsession.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Grace. Everything in moderation.
Yeah.
I agree. And when I read the article, Sam, I thought without their consent. I first thought without the government's consent you can post. But my twin brother will not let any family members post pictures of my nephew because of safety. Because he doesn't want
That's a great point.
predators and people on social. Because I mean, I'm a grown ass man and I get heinous, disgusting messages from people from all around the world, like just nasty stuff. So can you imagine me posting a picture with my nephew in there and then some freak in Iceland saying, "Oh, your nephew's a beautiful little boy. We'll love to." I mean, it's like fucked up shit. So that's why we don't post that. So I understand the danger of always constantly posting your kids. I think just if you do things in moderation, it can be, like you said, a beautiful, wonderful thing.
And all these things are, it sounds like this is just a case of posting something online, violating privacy, but there is such a giant case law area of digital privacy rights. There's in Arkansas or something right now, someone's Amazon Echo might have a recording of a murder.
Whoa.
And Amazon's like, but that's private information. Like we're not going to hand it over to the police. There was the San Bernardino case where like they wanted Apple to unlock the terrorist's iPhone, and it starts with stuff like, is it okay to post your children's photos of your children? Are they your property because they're minors and you're like their conservator or whatever? But then we're drawing all these lines, and we'll find it. We'll feel it out. It'll be too strict, and then it'll be too lax,
You're right.
and then we'll find the line.
And
over
I
time.
think that's what we're seeing with this. Like this law, it seems very extreme.
It does.
But if we're talking about discussing consent at an earlier age in a digital environment with children, then that's a great conversation, and it's an important conversation. And internet etiquette is absolutely something that we're going to need to start teaching the younger generation as they grow up with this, because this is something that we haven't seen before. It's unprecedented that the way that kids are being raised with a device practically like in their hands as soon as they come out of the womb. And so we do need to start to
whole
have
separate
these
education.
conversations.
Yeah.
And we need to start educating kids about it. But we're going to see a lot of messy laws until we figure it out. And I
Agreed.
think this is one of those cases.
Final
I
thought.
will say that my friend who's a child psychiatrist and has children, like posts the fewest photos of children of anyone I know. So I would trust their instinct to be
Yeah.
like, well, we're not going to overpost.
Right, because even oversharing, I read a really interesting.
No, it was a final thought. Sorry, Sam.
So Sam, no time for you?
I read a really interesting statistic where it said that a parent on their phone, parents will try and tell their children, don't, be screen time. Don't, these are a little bit older children, maybe 4th grade and up 5th grade, whenever a parent decides to allow their child to have a handheld device. It's that handheld device, like that screen time. It says it's not necessarily the parent telling the children what to do with their phone, it's how often you're on your phone. So you can tell your children, which makes sense, but you can tell your children all day long, no, you only get 20 minutes a day or whatever that may be. But if your children constantly see you texting this person or texting that or going on your Facebook, it will immediately impact them. And studies have shown that those children are the ones that become really obsessed with social media. So as a parent, you can parent your kid all you want, but you really want to be that example. And that's going to be the best parenting you can be. So. All right, so please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time on Pop Triggers.